In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to number your scenes in Unreal Engine so they match your script, as opposed to the VFX way, which we previously discussed.
Hey, welcome to Real-Time Workflows. I'm MX Bell. I worked on Deadpool and Wolverine, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, 1917, Hobbs and Shaw, Wheel of Time, Little Mermaid, No Time to Die, tons more. What you're going to get in the channel are my pro tips and how I use Unreal Engine to make films. So let's get started. Let's make some stuff. See you down the road.
Welcome back to Real-Time Workflows. So far, we've talked about scene numbering for VFX processes. Now that usually comes in post. It's been through an entire process, and then it comes to the VFX team, and they're going to number the shots and sequences. They might get given sequence codes, but they're going to use their own shot codes. Sometimes editorial will be involved, and they'll be providing the codes. That's usually what happens in post, is the editorial provide the shot codes. In previs, the previs team will create shot codes for a VFX sequence, which is probably being given to them by production or by editorial, the number. But in previs, you kind of make up the shot codes as you go, and it's usually a sequence code and a shot code. In Hobbs and Shaw, the Descender sequence where they run down the building, I did a lot of work on that. I was the lead on that. That was DER. And I think it's for Descender, I can't remember. But it would be DER, and we would then start numbering shots at 1010, as we previously discussed, and then you'd have a version number. Now, if, like me, you're making your own film, you might want to do it a slightly different way. And I'm going to explain how I'm going to do it for my film, Salient, which you can find out more about on my YouTube channel. When I write a script, I add scene numbers when I finish the first draft, right? Because when I want to hand it out to people, I want them to be able to comment and say, in scene 53, as opposed to on page whatever, things like that, scene numbers. And then because, for the same reason, you'll recall that I said, when a shot gets given a shot code.
That's his fucking shot code, it's not changing.
I said that about shots. And I feel the same way about scenes in a movie. It gets given a scene number. That's his fucking scene number. Now, at a certain point, especially if it gets bought, and it just leaves you as the writer, someone's going to probably renumber that, right? But in an indie world where I'm taking my script and I'm taking it through into production, as far as I'm concerned, I'm in control of the scene numbers, at least for this stage, and I want them to stick. I always want the scene number. So for Salient, my scene number, 88, has always been scene number 88 since I wrote it. Let's look at what we've got in here. I'm not really allowed to show the script because it is going into production, so I'm probably going to blur some stuff or redact some stuff, but I just want to show you scene heading numbers and scene headers and scene numbers, basically. Let's start here with scene A1 is the first scene. Now, what's that about? Well, that's because it's an added scene. That's because it's a new scene, right? I added it. I started at scene 1. When I wrote the script first, I started at scene 1, obviously. This is a scene that's been inserted since then. So if I come down here to where scene 1 starts, we see that now we have got scene 1. And the reason that the one previous is A1 is because A denotes that it comes before scene 1. And if it was 1A, it would come after scene 1, and then it'd be followed by 1B, 1C. So like B1 would come before A1, and then it'd be 1, and then 1A and 1B. There's some element of like, this is fairly conventional scene numbering stuff, but usually it only happens when a film or a TV project goes into production. What I'm doing is would probably make a few people balk, but I'm doing it just because I need to start working on stuff, and I need to be able to number them, and I also want to be able to tie my scene numbers and the script to my scene numbers in Unreal, and this is what we're doing. So that's scene 1. We've had scene 1A, we've had scene 1, and then we've got 2, and then if I just spin down here, we'll find that there's probably a 30. Yes, so there's a 31B there, right? Okay, so we can kind of see what's going on. How does that pertain to Unreal Engine? Well, we're going to need to make folders. Now, previously I made the folder called sequences. And actually, I don't want that because these are scenes, right? These are scene numbers. So I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call it scenes. And this is where my scenes are going to go. And so in here, I know I'm going to make folder 1, and I'm going to put O1. I'm just making a decision on the fly here because I've already stumbled across an issue. Because obviously if it's 01, it'd be A01, but I think that's acceptable. And I actually think it should be 001 because we do get to over 100. So I think our naming convention is going to be, if you did it as a naming convention, it's going to look something like this. This is going to be, there might be an A, there will definitely be 3 numbers, and there might be another letter. So there might be a letter, and then there's definitely 3 numbers, and there might be a letter. So we're going to leave it like this. We definitely want to have 001. That's our scene 1. We know that exists. And then I'm gonna, and that's just because I don't like to have 1. I want it to always have the same amount of digits. So 001 makes more sense to me. I also want to have A001 for the first scene, the one that's been inserted. And I also would definitely want to have 31B. We know we've got 31B. So that would be 031B. Now we would do that for every scene, or at least every scene we're going to previs, right? But let's not worry too much about about that. We're more worried about the minutiae of actually creating a sequence and giving it a number. So let's start with our first one. So and actually I'm going to create a template as well. So this is what I would usually do in the root. I'm going to create a cinematic level sequence, and this is going to be our root name convention. This is going to be what we refer to back to every time we want to do it. Now I'm going to give the project a 3-digit code. I always do that. This one, for argument's sake, I'm going to call it SAL. And this is as simple as it needs to be, right? It's SAL. I'm going to denote, I'm going to denote that it's previs. So I'm going to put PRV. Now, if it was postvis, that would be POV, right? But PRV, POV, I think are what I want to denote. It's previs, postvis. So postvis, previs, and we're going to go XOOOX. Then we've got a shot number, remember, because this is a scene. It still needs with the shot still needs to be denoted. They're going to be 000, and then it's going to be lowercase v 000. Right, now that's quite a long code. I'm going to change it. I'm just thinking about this on the fly. I want to be able to see the code. You see, I want it to be shorter. Do you know what I'm going to do? Because it's so long, I still want previs in it. Do we need a title? Don't think we do. I also want to get rid of this, and I'm going to put PRV further down so that it's not the first item of business. And let's see what this looks like. So we've got the title, 3-digit letter for the title. We've got a 3 to 5 digit scene code, which is from the script. That has to be a 1-to-1 match. Then we've got a 3-digit shot code. So we're still going to start at 10. So it will start at 010. That'll be the first one. And then we've got previs to denote that it's not postvis. And then we've got a version number, which is super important, and it's got 3 digits as well. So with that said, let's grab this, and now let's put one into action in here. So we're going to go new cinematics level sequence. I'll paste that in, and I will make the correct changes. So when it's salient, we know it's not our first letter isn't there. It's 31B, capital B. First shot will be 001. Previs, and then it'll be 001. So that will be our first shot code completed, and everything will look like that. So when we've done one version of that and we need to make another one, what we will always do is for a start, this will be checked into revision control. There'll be a video on revision control and how to use it at this level coming soon. Then if we were going to make another version, let's say we've made a shot and we're going to make another version, what we're going to do here is go duplicate, and that will automatically update and give you a new version number at the end. That's why the version goes last, because Unreal automatically just named that the next one up, and then we'd work into version number 2. All right. So we'll just apply that to another one just to be absolutely clear. We've got this A001, so we'll do it in here as well. So paste it in. So it's SAL with we know that this one's an A. It's still 001 because it's the first scene. And then we lose the last letter, and we know it's going to be 010, and we know it's going to be previs, and we know it's going to be 010. And then we would do that, and then we would mark forward. There we go. That is how to number scenes so that they match your script and still maintain one, version integrity, and I'm talking local version integrity, because what we need to do, we're going to get to a video on the burn-ins and the information that needs to be burnt into the video while you're working. But we need to make sure that we've definitely got the version number on the screen, and the best way to get it to be on the screen is to number it there. What version control will do, you could just have that shot without a version number, and you could rely on version control, perforce in this case, which is what this thing in the bottom right is doing. You could rely on that to kind of like, oh, if I need to go back a version, I can go and get version. They've got their own version numbers in there, right? But it's difficult to burn that in because it's, well, I don't think you can burn it in. So we definitely want to have, at all times, this version number and the shot number, all that information that we just wrote, that needs to be burnt into the screen, and we're going to get to that next. And that's why we do both this version of version control, so this method of version control, which is kind of hard baking it into the project. We're duplicating the level sequence so that we can work on it some more, and we preserve version 1 or whichever last version we had. We preserve that by duplicating and starting and working into a new one. But should all else fail, we've still got version control set up to fall back to it. And I say we'll get to version control down the line. Thanks for watching. Any questions, get them in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.